Natasha Owens, welcome back to Right Edition. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. I'm great. I want to talk to you about Donald Trump, number 45 and hopefully number 47, 45, 47. So you know him, you've sung songs about him, and you've been to his place and lots of stuff. And we defend, I know from talking prior with you prior to the show, you and I and so many others, of course, we defend him always with people who say bad things about him, right? And
Right.
so what's your take on him? What's he like?
We were a part of Trump's faith initiative team the last 3 years in the White House, and I saw a side to President Trump and a side to what he was trying to do that the media would never talk about, would never allow you to know. He's an amazing man that loves his country. People say he has no Christianity at all or roots, but he does. His grandparents were some of the leaders of the Scottish revival, and the Bible that he got sworn in on in 2016 was his grandfather's Bible. So he's got those Christian roots. He had his main purpose, besides helping the economy and helping all demographics of Americans, was to give freedom back to the Christians and to put God more into the government so that we would have more of a voice, a center influence in our politics, something that the church has retreated for all these decades. He put a faith initiative director over every part of government, and their main goal was to give the people back the freedom. And people don't realize that under President Obama, we were about to lose a lot of our freedom as Christians. Things that they were saying in 2017, I thought would never happen. You're not allowed to gather in more than 10 people together in a group. And it sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because it's what they implemented in 2020. So they're coming for our churches, and he knew that. And so under Obama, like as a Christian parent, it was slim to none that you could even adopt a child. You could if you were gay or a trans couple, but we were losing our freedoms and people don't even realize. So he came in and only president in history that has done more for Christians, and our Christian community doesn't even know that. So
He did so many good things, and the press didn't talk of that, or if they did, the fake news, they put different spins on it that made it sound bad. And so
right.
it's bad because people have had years of brainwashing
Right.
about how bad he is. And I recently had a conversation with a lady who said that he was a terrible person, and on she went. And I said, well, you know what? He's a great man. Is he a good man? I don't know that. Well, somebody else can make that call. But why do you say he's a bad man? And he's a racist. And I said, explain, describe. Of course, she can't. And then she went through a list, and it's a made-up list. I mean, my mom used to say, if a falsehood will be three-quarters away around the world before the truth comes out of your mouth.
Right.
And if you say it often enough, of course, it becomes the truth. And a lot of that has happened with Trump. So it's not just the Christian part of it, although certainly I get every bit of that. It's everything that he's done. I mean, musicians, you're a musician, and look what he did for musicians. He put laws in that they, couldn't be screwed over anymore with regards
Right.
to pay. And yet all of these pinko musicians, and there are many of them, thank goodness you're not, they don't care. They give him no credit. And people like Neil Young, I saw him once, he was asked about what Trump did, and his spin was bad. It wasn't nice. So it goes on. But you've met the guy, so tell us about his passion and his compassion. I mean, because people think he's a cold stick. I don't think he is.
He's not. And he has a humility about him that sometimes doesn't come through when he's got boxing gloves in front of the mainstream media. There's a humility, there's a servant's heart there. Everyone in Palm Beach loves him, absolutely loves him. He stops and gives thousands of dollars to someone. He hears about a need, and he's constantly doing things behind the scenes. I did a concert at Mar-a-Lago a year and a half ago, and he attended it. And I got to talk directly to him, and I sang my Stand for Life song, which is my pro-life song. And he had tears coming down his face the entire time, with his heart over his hand over his heart, thanking me for doing that song. he has a heart for Americans. He has a heart for this country. I also sat in another room where he had tears coming down his face saying, I will never take away your freedom. That's why they want to take away mine. I don't know of anybody else alive today that could stand as long as he has stood and taken the arrows and the lies against him and still says he's going to fight because he loves us and loves this country. And he did more for every demographic. He federalized the Juneteenth as a federal holiday for the African Americans. For the musicians, like you said, Spotify, when the streaming came in, it completely raked us as songwriters, right?
Right.
If you had 1 million downloads to iTunes, a Spotify, you could stream 1 million times one of my songs, and I would only get $70 compared to $1 million. That's what the industry was doing to us. And he came in and got legislation passed to where we now get 50 cents on a dollar, half of what iTunes, but so much more than what Spotify normally gives. So he gave money back. And I get mad, just like you said, at all these singers who don't realize that or don't want to acknowledge that he made them.
Trump, for many people on the left, Trump could create a cure for cancer and they'd call them names. So it's a sad thing that they're so closed and narrow. And that's very sad. And now going into the election, which is coming up in 3 months, 4 months, we're going to hear about this convicted felon stuff all of the time. And, I would vote for a convicted felon long before I would vote for one that hasn't been charged yet. And it's kind of like I knew a guy once who was a drunk conservative and a drunkard, and he said, well, I'm better than a sober liberal. And there's so many, so much yeah. So, Trump needs to win, and people need to see his good side. But to do that, you have to have your own values and your own creativity. You got to look past so much and who can lead us out of the wilderness. And a lot of people are starting to do that. I actually walked with a fellow the other night, not by choice. He's a raging Democrat, and I'm not. And we ended up on the sidewalk together, and I said, who are you going to vote for, in jest? And he called Trump every name in the book. And I was about to tell him to go away. And he said, but I'm going to vote for him. And I was quite back. And I said, what? What did you just say? And he said, our guy has ruined our country and we need Trump back. And I said, well, okay, maybe don't call him so many names. But anyway, he's going to always call them names because he's got that left from the spin. So
that's right. Well, he has to try to justify it to someone in case you are not a Trump supporter. He has to put that disclaimer out there first, I think. Mainstream media is so powerful, and they are the reason why we're having problems. They don't keep the politicians in check anymore, and they completely lie. Right now it's going around from all the Hollywood actors. Well, he's going to come after me and lock me up and put me in prison and put me in a re-education camp. And they're all saying it. This is all planned. You're seeing people wake up to this. And I'm so thankful for that. Just from his conviction to a week later, he raised $400 million. And Democrats who have never voted Republican are now saying they're going to vote for him. It's because they see the injustice. If President Trump did something wrong, I would want it to come out in a court with peers, and it'd be an honest trial. And that's not what we got with that. So I discredit those 34 felonies. I mean, you can't take 12 people as a jury and say, for the first time in history, you don't have to all agree. I just need 3 or 4 to say guilty. You don't have to tie it to a crime. Just give me 3 or 4, and then I will tie it in a pretty little bow. And that is wrong. And that should horrify every American, whether you love Donald Trump or not, that we do not have a fair justice system right now.
But what's going to happen next? I mean, these guys, the left, they've lost their mind, what little they had, and they don't know what else to do. I mean, they've probably tried to kill him. Who knows? They've tried so many things. What's left? I mean, you have to put him in jail. He should be in jail during the election. What's left for them? So I hope the people, like you say, I hope the people come out of the ether. And I think a lot of them are, like that fellow that I walked with. I've had a lot of similar conversations. So this defending Trump in my world has been going on for years. He's a racist. Explain racist. Define racist. And people can't. The press has done, as you said, they're so powerful. They've done a remarkable job on portraying this person and the resilience that he has. There's nobody alive that could do what he does. I mean, right. I get up every morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and this guy makes me look like a pilgrim. I mean, like he's
the hardest worker.
And to have all those people calling you names and different things, and to still do what he does, and the good things that he does, like you said, he gives money to people, the needy. It never gets reported.
No, it does not. And this is not a battle between right and left. This is not a battle between Republicans and Democrats. We are in a battle right now between good and evil. And, you know, being a part of that faith initiative group, we would start meetings with praise and worship and prayer. And so I know I'm on the right side of this. And this is just it's a spiritual battle at this point between good and evil. And we know we win in the end. But as Christians, we cannot stop working. We are to occupy the land. We are to push back against the evil until God comes back. And we're waking up to that now. Thank the Lord.
Great to talk to you about this. And I do remember when you were there, by the way, at his house, because a friend of mine was there and he sent me a photo of you in a red dress.
Oh, yes. That was this past November. I've been there like 16 times in the past year. I had a Trump one, and you know it, down the front of my dress. The song went platinum, the Trump one song did, and knocked Taylor Swift out of #1. And so anytime that happens, record labels make these big awards with the song, acknowledging the song. So we made one for President Trump and gave it to him, and he was so shocked. He said, this will tell you a little bit about his character. We line up to take a picture with him, and he said, I love that song, by the way. And I said, I'm the one that did it. My boys were there. And he said, boys, do you like your mom's music? And they said, yes, we're very proud of her. And he said, I am too. He said, we're going to take a picture with this award, and I want you to stay in it because she would not be the woman she is today without you, which I thought was extremely sweet that he said that. And then he looked at me and he said, I love that song so much, and I'm going to hang this in a place of honor. So it was that night was a memory that I'll never forget.
Isn't that great? Well, my takeaway from that is that if you if anybody had the pleasure of meeting him, it would be different. You would feel different because it's not the press anymore. It's a real life thing. And so thank you for sharing that with people, because people need to open up a little bit and look at the person differently than what the press has told you to look at. And I think that's great too.
They definitely would love the man and not hate him if they would just give him a chance.
There you go. Well, I got to tell you, the alternative too is pretty darn spooky. So we'll look forward to, hey, let's talk after is November. What's the election? November 4th?
5th, I think.
5th, November 5th. So maybe we should talk on the November 6th.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Okay.
Hopefully we will be rejoicing that we're pulling this thing back.
Okay. As always, it was great fun talking to you. We look forward to seeing you again.
Brian. See you later.
Bye.